Look, look, he's like, no, that was really good. Um, Asmodeus can be persnickety, and he didn't think I should get to make American jokes, but I'm American. Who else gets to make them? We're banned from traveling to the EU, and he said, I'm sure some Europeans are secretly relieved because we're kind of noisy and loud. And Asmodeus didn't think I was funny, and Loki's like, And the thing is, when I've traveled, people don't think I'm American. They think I'm. You're so quiet. Are you sure you're American? I don't say boo to people. I really don't. You guys know I have social anxiety, so I'm not going to talk to you, not unless I have to. Oh, but yeah, so Asmodeus is like flicking the little tail. He's annoyed. He doesn't think it's funny. Americans are crass and loud. We all know it, and especially the ones that travel. Everybody has this picture in their mind, and you see it in the news. You see pictures of, say, Japan or Europe or Germany or anywhere. It's like the same 12 Americans, and you know the stereotype because I swear it's the same 12 people in every country. It's like, oh. I'm sure some of them are perfectly lovely, but we're not all that loud, I swear. We're not all that demanding, and we don't all think that speaking louder to you works. And the funny thing is, I had tourists from other countries do it, and I guess that's where we're going this time. And they start speaking the whatever the language is louder and slower. And I'm like, it doesn't help me understand. But, I guess they figure if they speak it louder and slower, you can understand them. I don't know. I once had a guy shout at me in Japanese, and that was before I took Japanese. And I was looking at him like, I'm still not understanding you. Sorry. But, yeah. And we should be able to laugh about how tourists act and how we're now banned from the EU. But it's a health reason. But I'm sure some Europeans are secretly relieved, and that's okay. I can't stand Americans sometimes either. They'd be loud. The ones around here are already setting off the fireworks, so it sounds like we're being shelled. So yeah, I understand why some people are like, "Oh, thank God the Americans won't be here." I live with them every day. They're loud and they're obnoxious. And it's one of those things. It's like, you think of certain character traits when you think of each country, and it's not, some people say, well, that's not fair. But in a way it is, because generally Americans do tend to be louder and they do tend to be outspoken, and most of the Americans I know talk at a volume just below stadium level. I talk really low for an American. I don't yell. I know I tend to get excited and get louder, but usually the American volume is like, don't even need a microphone for YouTube volume. It tends to be. I've noticed we shout a lot, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because all my friends are older, or it's just, no, we shout. We're loud people. We are loud people. Um, Anyhow, you know who got back in. Him and not the other one. And, I got a little mean. I did. And I'm characteristically not mean, but in my defense, I was playing that visual novel, and the way, that pet one, I finally finished it. The way to score points with the boyfriend is to treat him like garbage. Yeah, treat him like garbage. And he likes it. I don't know why. Treat him like garbage. Treat him the worst possible way. And I was just so mad at Mammon taking out his, own lack of success on me that I really treated him the way he was treating me. And he did not like it. He did not like it at all. And I'm lucky he's fond of me, because Mammon would not usually stand there and take that kind of treatment. I will tell you that right now. I would not treat Mammon this way if I didn't trust him. And I felt bad. I did, because I don't like being mean to people, but sometimes being mean gets you results. I felt really mean when I sent that thing to Oculus, but now I'm going to get a new Rift. And, Inari's taking some of the credit for the riff, but said, honestly, you got that because you stood up for yourself and you barked like a little fox, and Inari's proud. Mammon's proud too. But, Mammon has a massive ego and a huge reputation of never failing. And I had even looked up stuff on Mammon yesterday, and I shouldn't have, because every single person that writes about Mammon has some kind of bullshit in a box to sell you. I go, yeah. And, I think the business term is actually dog shit in a box, but it's the same thing. Getting clapping and cheering back here. And, it's like, oh, people will say I was working with Mammon, and it sounds just like one of those damn YouTube videos. And I got this much in passive income. And bullshit. Especially if they can give you a number, fucking bullshit. Because most people with money do not tell you how much money they have. They will not. Only people that have newly come into money will go blah 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 about how much money they have. Yeah, rich people are quiet about it. Because they have it and they know they have it and they don't have to, flaunt it and prove it to people. But anyhow, those things don't work. I hope you guys know they don't work. And Mammon is having a really tough time right now. If you're going to start working with him, he's having a really hard time getting traction. But he's part of this family. He must have gotten something good from Inari, and I mean fire whip good, but Inari really didn't hurt him. Inari returned him in one piece, but Inari let him know it's only because I love him and that Inari didn't do what Inari thought he deserved to him. And he was just kind of quiet and subdued because Inari is frightening. I've often said to Inari, I said, are there such a thing as divine Yakuza? Because I think you are one. And they just kind of smile this creepy smile. They love being scary. They're kind of intimidating. Even when they love you and adore you to pieces, there is something a little intimidating about Inari. If Susanna O is in the same room, you're like, I'm gonna die. But they're very loving and warm. They're very strong, aggressive, at times calmy, but they're usually sweet and kind. Usually. And Mammon must have really got the right act, and he's agreed. He's back in the family. He apologized. He actually likes the decorating style, and he said it wasn't me. It was he failed, and he took his failures out on me because usually Mammon can touch someone's life, and it doesn't work like those bullshit in a box stories, but it does make it better. And he's trying now. He's not trying to hit a fantasy that people wrote about him, but he is trying now. He's like tripling his efforts. So, that's good because we'll have the help we need and Mammon will have a stable home life. And I said, just don't get that all alone again. And he kind of looked at me and blinked, and I said, between the way Odin treated me and the way Mammon acted, I seem to this isn't special sparkle pagan princess stuff. I seem to pick up character traits I need. I think it's from my childhood. I pick up survival traits, let's put it. And I said, you get mean, I'll get me. Because you seem to respond to that. And he's like, okay. And I don't like being mean. I really hate it. And I feel horrible. And it makes me feel yucky in my soul. But if I have to get mean, I will get mean. And I will be especially mean because I don't like to do it. So let's get it out of the way. So Mammon said that. He's like, yeah, you're nasty. I don't like to do it. I really don't want to be mean to you. I want to be friends with everybody. Don't make me your enemy. And that's not a threat. Don't make me your enemy. I want to be friends with everybody, or at least we can leave each other alone, but don't make me mad to the point where I have to be mean because nice has failed. I'll give you mean. You won't want mean again. Anyhow, he is in, and he's kind of subdued right now. He's going to be working towards things, and I told him what I need, and I said I want him to work with Inari, and Inari's fine about working together. And I said, if you and Inari can work together, maybe Lakebub wants to get into this, or Loki, or whomever. I said, then you can start working together and start generating traction. I said, follow Inari. They know their little foxy feet. And he says, I don't know why you believe so much in Inari. And I said, and I'm free to share this because I think they've told a lot more people. Japan has a lot of tragedies, and they're used to picking their way through disaster zones, especially after World War II. And that they don't hate Americans with all their spirit. I don't know why, but they're very kindly inclined to us. I don't know why they don't hate us, but like the Japanese people, they're very loving and kind towards us. And that is something you'll have to talk about when you deal with Inari-sama. And I said they're used to picking their way through tragedy, and their least favorite thing now is I'll watch Japanology Plus because like all the episodes are on YouTube. And there were some really sad ones on there about like after tsunamis and stuff like that. And there were huge periods of time in Japan where they had mass starvation, and Inari is literally the kami of food, but it's like if you don't ask them, they can't always show up. Sometimes they will show up with like rice and everything, and they will feed people during a famine. They've actually physically shown up like a saint would, but a lot of times, they can't do that. And there are some places in Japan where it's not good weather to, grow rice. It's too cold or something like that, or it's too bitter. And what would happen is at the time in Japan, people would pay their taxes in rice. And if the government took all your rice that you managed to grow too damn bad, you got to starve to death. And the thing was, the only people who got fed, and I know this sounds heartless, but this is how things had to be, were the people who could work in the fields the next year. So children, the elderly, the sick, anyone who was, couldn't be of any use and wasn't any use during the winter, they didn't get to eat. And it's where the legend of the Kappa comes from. This is really sad. There's a lot of sadness in Japan. I think that's why Inori's so sweet. Because with the Kappa, the mothers would, babies were just another mouth to feed, and they were all starving. So it would be down to the mother. The mother had to, you know, take care of the baby. And then she would say, "You can't be a kappa until you have a place to put water." And she would have to take a rock and put the bowl in the head. I'm trying to be polite here. And then put the baby in the river. And can you imagine the poor mommy? And, it's just, I think having gone through all that heartbreak and not be able to do anything, I'm not crying, you're crying, is what made Inari so sweet and kind and gentle, what made most of the kami sweet and kind and gentle. I think that's also why they have so much rage in them, because they've seen so much. And they think a lot of demons and a lot of European gods are frankly pampered, and they haven't seen all that. I mean, maybe they have seen the equivalent, but, we have it as recorded history in Japan, which I think makes a difference. And after watching me cry through 3 episodes of Japanology Plus yesterday, they were like, "Yeah, you can't watch anymore." It was sad. I love that series, but a lot of Japan's history is really sad. There's a lot of happiness too. We like watching the festivals and having parties. But they were thankful. They were thankful. There's like a belief in Buddhism, there's a belief in Shinto that, you know, every time you mourn and you wish well for the dead, it helps them. So they're thankful. They're like, "Oh, an American likes us." It's really sweet. So, Mammon will still be here. And they have their stuff over here now. I did not, like I said, I did not throw it away. But they have their stuff in there. It's surrounded by Loki stuff, which Loki loves, and some of Thor's stuff's by it, because we did keep Thor's little toys, which Thor secretly loves. And he hated his statue. And he has his hammer over there. I don't have the Thor's hammer, but again, he didn't like it. And he knows they've become symbols of hate. And he agreed with me, and the other Norse gods agreed that, if something's been appropriated as a symbol of hate, don't fight the tide right now. Don't try to fight the tide right now. Don't have an Othello. Don't have a Thor's hammer. Don't have a symbol of Odin. I mean, I am pushing it with the hat I usually wear. But it looks like a Triforce, so I wear it. Don't, and I don't wear it out in public now. I try not to. I try to remember. Um, don't, try to fight the tide right now. There's too many far right people taking Nazi symbolism. Hell, there was a Domino's pizza the other day that people got fired for putting swastika on. It was the backwards one I think they use in India, but they still got fired unless they, flip the photo. I don't know. But it's not a time to try to fight the tide right now. There's enough going on in the world, and there's enough upset, and there's enough angry people, and we all know them, that it's not the time to try to fight the tide right now. Wait until stuff, cools off. And then if you want to wear, a Thor's hammer, or you want to wear something else, you can wear stuff for Loki. Nobody actually takes him seriously as a god. So getting laughter back here and clapping. But it's true. Nobody takes Loki seriously as a god. And in my personal experience, and this is mine alone, he doesn't care if you wear I have his necklace dangling over here, a necklace that may or may not be Loki, or it's a something from pop culture or something. As long as you know the real Loki is the real Loki and not, from Smite or Marvel or, an anime or something. So, he likes those things and he likes to be talked about, but just so he's not like really humiliated or something, then he's not so happy. But, he's here too, and he's been giving Mammon side eye. Loki is the boss of the house. Loki's just not one of those bosses that whacks all the other gods around. He wanted to see how I would handle Mammon on my own. And he kind of knew why I gave in, because he's told me I'm as sneaky as Loki is. I kind of gave in because he really did hurt me, and I needed to get everything away from me. But it was also a strategy of giving Mammon exactly what he wanted, because I knew exactly what my personality will become like, because I know what I'm like if I'm not around bright stuff. And Mammon got exactly what he wanted, didn't like it. He looked at me and said, it's like a switch was flipped, and he left. Like, too bad. And Loki, looking back at it, is like, it was your strategy all along, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, I knew I would be sad. I knew I would be emotionally upset. And I was emotionally hurt from how he read me the riot act. But it was also a little bit of foxy strategy because Loki taught me well. So, I'm getting this weight back here from him. And, Loki will teach you to be a little fox. And usually, my mom was the same way. If you want something, we'll give it to you, all right? We'll give you more than you asked for. We will. We'll take it all down. We'll take it all down. And then you can see. Because it usually hurts the feelings of the person asked you to do it. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Hey, women don't always have autonomy and power. We have to pick our battles and fight with what we got. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.